Welcome to Under the Greenlight, where business owners share their story about entrepreneurship, open up about their greatest victories and challenges, and map out their journey from startup to success. And now here's your host, Demrie Henry, Managing Partner of Greenlight Tax Group.
Hi, welcome to Under the Greenlight. I'm so excited for our next show and our next guest. Today we have Travis Hitt with the Hitt Group.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Okay. So Travis Hitt is a realtor in North Dallas, very successful realtor, has a very big realtor group. He's actually our first realtor on the show.
Oh, perfect.
So I'm super excited to talk about you and kind of dive into what you do. So first off, tell us a little bit about the Hitt Group and what you do.
So like you said, I'm in real estate. So I've got a team of 4 guys, started about a year ago. And
a year ago?
We started
so the team started a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going on my 11th year now.
Wow.
But just started the team about a year ago. And we're simply out here to service our clients, help them find, buy, sell, lease the properties that they're looking for.
And like the market in the last year has been insane, hasn't it?
Yeah. We've had a slowdown, but the last 2 years has been quite incredible, pretty nuts, different than Texas has ever seen for our market.
So is it starting to slow down?
It is, yeah.
Okay. Well, so
is
that good?
It depends on who you're talking to.
Right.
Yeah, so it's been a seller's market for 2 years, and so a lot of sellers don't love that it's slowing down.
Right.
Buyers are starting to love it because they have more of an opportunity to buy.
And is there more inventory or?
Now there is.
Okay.
So even when we had the first initial slowdown, we had very limited inventory.
And that that makes a big difference, right?
It does, yes. Because that past 2 years with limited inventory, you have 15 buyers, is more like 300-400, all looking for one home.
And everybody is now having to go, hurry up, make an offer, get it in quick, get it in right, and then you're like bidding and outbidding, and that's when you're
spending a lot of money.
Spending more.
Yeah.
So what was it about, first of all, what did you do before you started real estate, and why did you make the transition into real estate?
So I was actually in the military before real estate. So I was in the Army for 5 years.
Okay.
And I've always known since
Thank you for your service, by the way.
You're very welcome. Thank you. I've known since high school I wanted to be in real estate.
Okay.
So I had a mentor, one of my best friends in high school. Her dad was a real estate broker, and I didn't know what he did, but he was always around. He was a Navy guy. I knew I wanted to go to the military as well, but he was always around. You could tell he did well. He would take us fishing, and I asked him one day, I called him Big Guy. I said, what do you even do for work if you work? And he said, I'm a real estate broker. And I go, I don't know what that is, but that's what I want to do.
And so what was it about that? The fact that he seemed to have a successful life, he was happy, having fun, had a lot of money, and you didn't even know what he did. And it was like, that's the life I want. Yeah,
it's just, I've always wanted to be in a phenomenal marriage. I wanted kids, but I want to be present.
Right.
And so seeing him be present with his family
was a big deal.
Yeah, being able to contribute, take the kids places, take us places, but also be able to see he did very well was attractive to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So being a real estate agent is actually very difficult. There's a lot of people who do not make it.
Yeah.
So the fact that you were exposed to a guy who's obviously very successful made it seem easy.
Right.
How did that translate when actually you decided to become a realtor?
Yeah, it was a lot different than I expected, just like I think a lot of realtors see in the market when they join. But when I first started, I actually worked 4 jobs at once. And so
4 jobs at once. Okay, yes. What 4 jobs?
Let's see, I worked for a staffing company. Worst job I've ever done in my life.
Okay.
I can say that on camera.
Okay.
I was a cycle instructor. And
working out?
Yep, yelling at you, getting you sweating and going.
Before the Peloton was even a thing?
Before the Peloton.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, actually. I enjoyed it because I love fitness.
And then yelling at people?
I did, yeah. I don't do it much anymore, but it was the only time I was allowed to, I guess. And then I also worked at a bar lounge type deal.
Oh, wow. So you were like, okay, I'm going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And it's tough. So for those folks out there that are thinking, hi, I think I'm just going to quit my job and be a realtor, maybe don't do that so fast because there's a lot to learn. So whenever you started, because now you have a team, and I want to dive into that in just a second. Did you start as part of a team, or were you an independent?
I was independent. I've always been independent. I've never been on a team until I started one.
Wow. Okay. And so what was whenever you kind of got started, what was the first thing that you did whenever you were like, okay, I'm taking the leap, I'm going to start doing this. This is what I've always wanted to do. How did you make that happen? And what were some of the sort of challenges you experienced that maybe a lot of other realtors experience too, and then they kind of give up and say, I can't do this anymore, I'm out.
Yeah.
That you're like, nope, I'm going to get through this. And how did you kind of, so that was a lot of questions in one. So
I'm processing
I can repeat them if you need me to. But like, that's the thought process is like, you know, just getting into it is really, really hard. And obviously you're working 3 other jobs. And so you had to sit here and go, okay, when I get to this benchmark, I can kind of quit this job and then this job. I bet you quit the staffing job first, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That
Gone.
job's out. Done with that job. And so what was the benchmark? And then what were the things that you were like, okay, I'm falling down, but I'm going to get back up? What are those challenges?
Yeah, so I think the biggest challenge I had starting off having 4 jobs, and then once I dwindled it down to 2 and 3, was I kind of had a safety net with the other jobs.
Right.
And so I didn't really find out real estate was my passion until about year 5. Because
5 years. Oh, sorry, I was taking a sip and I just had to put it back in there because I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's a long. So good for you for sticking it out.
Because I was a very different person back then. I was 24 when I started. My main goal was just having fun, living life.
Right.
And it wasn't thinking of career and future back then. A lot of things have changed in my life since then. But the biggest thing for me is I had a safety net, and so I didn't go full force into doing real estate. Once I realized it was my passion, that's where I realized these are holding me back. And so I had to let them go and just go full force into doing real estate. Yeah,
so that's good. So I remember, so we met you, I don't know, I guess it was about a month or 6 weeks ago. I don't know. And I remember being at the brokerage office with all the other realtors, and you were talking about some of the like good practices. What are the things that you do? And I know you sell a lot of high-end houses. And I was really intrigued by some of the different things that you do. Like, for instance, hiring a private chef. So I've never thought about a realtor hiring a private chef to sell a home. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that was a property I'm selling in Flower Mound, and I was doing a big brokers open. It's where we invite top brokers in areas to show them the home prior to going on market. And my thought is, what can we do different? Because brokers are going to come no matter what. But how can you set yourself apart and set that house apart that people remember? And I had a private chef come to my house for my wife's birthday once, and I go, why not just have him there, you know, making hors d'oeuvres, making dinner? And it can always be, when people come to brokers opens or open houses, it can always have a sense of awkwardness there. And so I thought it would kind of slice through the cake and people could enjoy some food. Everybody loves food. Right. And so it was awesome. I just had him there making food for everybody while they were there so they could see the chef, had handhelds, walk around. I had a bartender as well, pouring drinks for people. Yeah. And so I like to make things a little different and fun, not just dry, boring. Right. Everybody can see a house. You can look around and look at it.
And I remember what you said. You said that when people walk in, they immediately get the sense of, okay, this is what it would feel like if I was going to have a party or entertain in my house. It smells good. It feels like a home. So I was really, what's the word, impressed with some of the things that you do very different that other realtors are not thinking about. Right. And so you're just kind of thinking out of the box, which probably has a lot to do with how successful you've been and kind of how you're growing. So the other guys on your team, tell me about them. What do they do for your team? How do you guys operate?
So every team is so different. The way I did it, because I came from different companies that had team models, and I never liked whenever you put a sense of like a blanket over somebody, and it really, you limit their ability. And so I told guys when they come on, I'm hiring you as a realtor. I need help with certain stuff. It's the agreement. But I want you to practice as you practice. I want you to be able to help buyers, help sellers, help people lease. I didn't want to limit their ability.
So they can grow and learn.
So we structured it to where all my guys can do real estate, every facet of real estate, and they're not in any category box. I see the benefit of that in some ways. But a lot of times, like all my guys were all brand new pretty much. And so I didn't want to limit them when they're just getting started.
That's good. So you're really kind of bringing on guys, you're a mentor and really helping them coach and learn, probably getting through a lot of the hard things that you learned that maybe you didn't have a mentor for in the very beginning. So that's very cool. So let's kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about the financial health of your business. Okay.
This is the interesting part.
This is going to be fun. So we work with a lot of realtors. Of course, we work with a lot of business owners. We talk to realtors all the time. And one of the first questions I always ask realtors if we're talking in a big group and we're talking about their business is like, by show of hands, you know, how many you structured as an LLC? How many you structured as an S Corp? Very few people. You are one of them that is an LLC and an S Corp. And I always ask the question, how many people have a separate business bank account than a personal bank account.
Very few.
And it's probably, I don't know what, 8% of people, 5%. It's such a small amount.
Not more than 10.
No, it is such a small group of people, and I'm always blown away. It's like, how do you operate your business if you're mixing all of your business income and expenses right in there with your personal? It's kind of a mess. So what was it that made you decide to say, okay, I've really got to start operating my operation like a true business, not just a typical realtor getting a 1099, shoving that money in my personal bank account? Because I would imagine you didn't do it on day one.
No, definitely didn't. I didn't do it on year 9. The big thing for me was taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple answer for me, because the better you do as a self-employed person, the more taxes you pay.
Right.
And I remember getting a tax bill and I go, this is absolutely ridiculous for the amount of time I work, the money I'm making, the amount I was paying out.
Right.
And so everybody always said, get a business account, get a CPA, but you're not taught, and this is I think a negative connotation in real estate, is whenever we get our license, we're not taught finances.
No.
There's not a financial class when you go through and get your license. So that's one thing I preach to all my guys. Don't do as I did, do as I do.
Right.
And so I want to help other realtors now be successful from day one and not get into a financial hole like I did.
Because your business is so seasonal too, especially when you're getting started. You don't necessarily have those consistent months of income.
Right.
And so whenever you do get a large commission check, you've got to make that spread out. And you've got to be really smart with that. And so I love it. I love it that you're doing that.
Thank you.
And I think it's critical. And I have had clients before that have said in the beginning, gosh, I can't wait till I can pay. I'm being very true, because we work with business owners.
I'm not surprised, whatever you say.
Yeah, we work with business owners that own a lot of different companies and things like that. Of course, realtors too. But I did have a client that said, I'm going to be so happy when I can write $1 million, or he said, I thought I would be so happy when I could pay $1 million in taxes, because I knew if I pay $1 million in taxes, I'm making so much money. Because then now here I am paying $1 million in taxes, and I'm so mad and angry. And I'm like, yeah, right? Because the thing is you don't have to pay that much. You can structure yourself in a way that you can actually put that money back in your business and help it grow. And so I love it that you were thinking about that. So tell me about your accounting system, because we tell all of our clients, accounting is the basis and the foundation of all tax planning. If you don't have a strong accounting system, it's going to be very difficult to help you navigate a really strong tax plan. So do you have a strong accounting system? Are you using QuickBooks or are you using 1985 spreadsheets?
I'm over the 1985. I'm old school, so I like notes and pen to paper, but no, I have a CPA firm now. So we use QuickBooks. I mean,
good.
I think having a CPA firm is an absolute must for any entrepreneur, especially realtors. Main reason for realtors is we're business owners, but you're out there all day long. And so you don't have a lot of time. So somebody told me a long time ago, pay the people that are good at what they do so you can be better at what you do. Well, I didn't listen, just like I haven't listened a lot in my life until I started doing
we all
better.
do that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
I hope my son doesn't.
Yeah, he will. He's going to. And then you're just going to have to let him fall and say, okay, let me help you pick back up and dust you off and get back in there.
So once I saw, because CPA firms, they're not sexy. So a lot of people don't even take the time to understand what they can do. But what is sexy is having more money in your account and being able to put more money into your business to provide for your family, grow your business. And so once I saw the benefits of doing accounting the correct way, that's when it became intriguing to me.
And it's not just about, like what you're saying, it's not just about the taxes and all of that. It's about asset protection. It's about putting all the pieces together so the left hand knows what the right hand is doing, and also creating opportunity as well. And accounting definitely isn't sexy, but man, it's super exciting when you look at that P&L and you can see how much money you're bringing in, and then your expenses, and then your bottom line, and then how can we actually save this money. That's when like you've kind of hit the real business owner mentality, when those type of numbers really matter to you.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And so many of our clients, they are super frustrated and they're like, everything's a giant mess. Now what do I do? And so it's really good that you did that. And so are you encouraging all of the guys that work for you to kind of follow that same path?
100%.
Like, here's what we have to do. See, that's great.
Yeah, I'm very open with my finances with them. I talked to them about the amount of debt that I racked up with the IRS. I feel bad for my CPA firm for when they had to clean up everything for me. So I'm very open with them, and I think a lot of people are closed off with the structure of their business their entities, their financial assets, where I'm very open about it because I don't want them to go through what I went through.
Right.
I'd be a lot more successful financially today if I would have listened to people like you 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. And so I'm very open with them.
Yeah.
I tell them what I do now. I get them all to open up a business bank account and try to answer any questions that they have.
Yeah, and that's great. But I think you're right. I think the biggest challenge for folks like you in your industry is that you guys, work with these brokerage companies and they help you get your license. They help you with all the marketing. They help you kind of get into the industry, but then they don't help you think about being a business owner.
Right.
And they're like, oh, good, here's your 1099, just give that to your CPA. And then you're like, wait a minute, I spent a lot of money in order to actually make this money. How do I deduct all of that? Well, you have to have really strong organized accounting to deduct it and proof.
Yeah.
You can't just,
True.
so yeah, that's great. So I love it that you're thinking like that. And I think that you're a really great role model for a lot of other real estate agents out there that are getting started, because like you said, nobody is teaching them that side of the business.
Right.
So one of the things that I like to talk about during the show, because this is a show really and truly about business owners for business owners. So anybody that's really watching, I want them to be able to learn and grow, kind of think about, what are some of the things that in the sort of tidbits of advice that you would give. And so, being an entrepreneur is sexy. There's a ton of benefit. You have your own schedule and you're totally in control, but there's a lot of things that are not sexy about it, right?
Right.
So tell us about some of the things that are maybe your biggest challenges that you are constantly having to figure out, like kind of what you said, source my strengths kind of mentality, like these are my strengths and this is what I'm going to do. And then sort of like, this is what I'm going to outsource, or this is how I'm going to kind of shift and change based on market conditions or whatever. Because you guys are getting a bunch of curveballs thrown at you all the time.
Right, absolutely. I think for me, that's an easy answer because entrepreneurs, most of them have a different mindset that they like to be in control. That's why they don't want to work for somebody. So letting go is a really hard piece.
That is so true.
And it is.
It is so true.
And it was really hard for me to do that. I listened to people say hire people that are better than you, but I didn't want to do it because I'm in control. I'm watching myself grow on the success scale, I guess you could say. And I'm like, why would I bring somebody else in when I'm doing it correctly?
Right.
But as you grow and grow and grow, you need to be able to let go, bring people on your team into your business that can help you do what you do best. And until I learned to do that, I kind of hit a wall. I remember in 2020, my wife was sleeping on my office floor just to hang out with me.
Oh my goodness.
I was just working so much. We were having a baby the next year, so we understood I was working a lot. But I told myself, I told her, I said, I'll never do this again. I don't care how much money I make.
Yeah.
And that's when
you have to have balance.
You have to have balance.
Or what's it worth?
Yeah. So that's when I hired people. I brought people on to help me with my business, do the accounting, people do my paperwork, things like that. So I could do what I loved with working, but I could also enjoy my life, my family time.
Right. No, that's great. So I don't remember if it was in college or my latter high school years, and I was kind of a big dweeb, so I studied a lot and did all the things. But I remember the law of diminishing returns, and that's where you just input, and you think the more you put in, the more you're going to get out.
Yes.
So as you're thinking about, I'm going to keep doing, and your wife is sleeping on the floor, there's a point in time where like I keep inputting, but it's giving me diminished returns.
Right.
Like there's a plateau, and that's where you have to shift.
Yeah.
And bring other people into the fold.
You can only do so much before you run yourself ragged.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So if you were, like, say, in a forum, in a room with a bunch of college students, and right now the world is very different, right? Then even like it changes, it seems like every 5 years, it gets even the social media and how you market your business and how you grow your business and communicate with people. It's so different. Like I can honestly tell you, my 3 boys know way more about social media than I do. They know way more about how to market a product or buy a product online than I do. And it's just so fast, hard to keep up. So how do you keep up with that? And then I have a follow-up question.
Social media is not my forte. But again, now I go to people that it is theirs and let them coach me on it and let them handle it. And now I ask questions that I didn't ask before. I think a lot of entrepreneurs and people that get into this business or any self-owned business, people don't want to act like they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Because they can take it as a negative way towards them. I could care less now. If I don't know how to do something, I don't even want to try.
That's another thing. You've got to get to the point where you're like, okay, educate me.
Yeah. So I ask a lot of questions now. If I don't know how to do something, I call somebody that knows how to do it, or I ask them to help me, or I say, hey, will you do this for me? And then I bring them on.
So do you use a lot of social media for your business? Because a lot of realtors seem to start doing a lot of video and social media.
A lot, no. Are we getting there? Yes. It took me a while to get on the social media train because I don't love being on camera. So it was a setback and a holdback in my own brain for me. Luckily, I brought somebody on named Turner Cavender that runs all of our social media. He loves cameras, loves podcasts, YouTube. He gets it. Yeah, he gets it. And so he's helping us with that because it's important.
It is.
This day and age has changed. So a lot of stuff is on video, and you're able to put yourself in front of so many more people by being on social media, being in front of the camera.
And to me, I feel like that's what also makes you relevant. Now in today's age, like what's your social media? What's your Instagram?
Well,
Are
people
you on
know
Facebook?
you before they know you.
Yeah, and you can kind of see it and all of that. It just kind of makes you like, oh, you're part of our sort of decade.
Daily life.
Yes.
You just have to wait till your son gets older, then he can just teach you.
Yes.
He can do it for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
You can hire him on.
He can do it for you.
That's true.
Yeah, you can hire him right now to do it. But he's on
I know,
your
you
payroll,
told me
isn't
that.
he? Isn't he already on your payroll?
He is about to be.
He's about to be on it. Good.
Yeah,
Get him
you
to
actually
work.
told me about that.
Okay, you got to put that boy to work now. There's things that they can do for you. And
He
that's
loves
a
typing.
huge benefit.
Perfect.
And it makes them feel like, okay, I'm contributing. So that's
Right.
good. So if you were in a college forum with a bunch of kids that are getting ready to graduate, kind of thinking back to where you were at that time, and I know you went to the Army and all of that, what advice would you give them about their career or the journey of their career? Because you went to the Army, you got out, and you, was it in the Army, did you say? Am I saying it right?
Yep,
Okay, I
you
just
are.
want to make sure I'm saying it right. And then you worked 3 jobs, you became a realtor. I feel like 4 jobs. I feel like the kids today have this expectation of, you know what, I just want to get that job. I want to get all the profit sharing stock options. I want them to sell the company. I want to get my millions of dollars. Let's kind of model myself after Mark Zuckerberg and some of those cool dudes that are, in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
That's not realistic. So, and there's so many kids that you ask them, what do you want to do? I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. So what would you say as an entrepreneur thinking about those kids, thinking about the next adventure in their life? What advice would you give them?
There's a couple things I'd say. One, don't look at social media and think that they got to where they are in a day.
Right.
Because it's not realistic.
No.
The people that we're watching that are successful, it's not attainable in a month. It's not attainable typically in a year.
Right.
And then I'd say have an open mind and climb the ladder. But understand
I love that.
you have to climb the ladder to get to the top.
A lot of them would just want to be at
They
the
just
top
wanna
of that.
jump to the top.
How do I get to the top of that ladder right now?
Yeah.
I'm going to go there tomorrow.
The more you climb it, the more you're going to learn in every single step of the way. But people don't want to climb the ladder these days.
Right.
And they just think that they should get it right when they get out or when they start their job. But put the work in, climb the ladder, and I always tell people keep swimming.
Oh, that's
Don't
good.
quit.
Keep swimming.
Yeah.
Did you get that from Finding Nemo?
Maybe. I don't. Maybe.
Just keep
Oh
swimming.
yeah, just keep swimming.
Yeah,
Yep.
just
I
keep
didn't, but I'm
swimming.
gonna say I did now.
You might have subliminally if your
True.
children were watching it.
That's
just
true.
Keep swimming.
Yeah.
It's silly
But
when
that's
I
my
hear
biggest
it.
advice: is climb the ladder and keep swimming.
Yes, absolutely. That's some great advice.
Thank you.
Okay, so the last thing we want to do on our show, Melanie has lightning round questions that have nothing to do with your business or taxes or accounting or real estate.
Okay.
And so she's just going to ask you some questions so we can just get a little bit more insight into your brain.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
for
fun
fun.
stuff. So Lamborghini or Ferrari?
Ferrari.
Wow.
I like it that he's
Easy.
answering fast.
Easy.
Favorite sushi roll?
Ooh, spicy jalapeno roll.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
spicy yellowtail roll.
Milk chocolate or dark chocolate?
Dark chocolate.
Much healthier for you.
It is.
So if you're going to go on a cruise, would it be Alaska or somewhere in the Caribbean or maybe Italy or somewhere in Europe?
I don't love the cold unless I'm snowboarding, so somewhere where the sun's out.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Those are my fun
Those
questions.
are your
Okay,
fun
that's
questions.
too easy.
Yes. Okay. So if somebody wants to find you and they want more information about your team, how can they find you? Where do they go?
We're on Instagram, Facebook. It's all Travis Hitt Realtor, or you can look up the Hitt Group.
The Hitt Group. The Hitt Group.
Yep,
I
right
love
there.
it. It's very cool.
And then my email, phone number's everywhere. It's not a fake phone number. It takes you to a Google call. It's my cell phone.
Travis Hitt.
Yep.
I love it. Okay, good. Well, if you guys need any help with your real estate needs, you're looking to buy a house, sell a house, anywhere in the DFW market, probably beyond.
Yes.
I know Travis can help you. He's got some really great, innovative ideas. Thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it. It was so fun. I hope you'll come back and see us sometime.
Anytime.
Maybe next year we can talk about all the things.
Absolutely. We'll do a follow-up.
Yes. Well, thank you guys so much for joining our show. I hope you learned something, and we hope to see you next time.